Welcome to Razzball Radio, Fantasy Sports Network. Nick Capozzi, along with my man Sky. We hauled down from Minneapolis today. We are in St. Louis. And one thing I got to tell you, Sky, I've been to this city a bunch of times. People think of this as a Cardinals town, as a baseball town, which it is, which is absolutely fair. Some of the best baseball fans anywhere on the planet. But this is a multi-sport city. These are hardcore sports fans. They support the Rams. They support the Blues. There's no basketball team here, though.
No, but there was the best show on turf, and that was amazing.
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to talk Rams right now. We were at the Post Sports Bar and Grill in St. Louis, and I have never seen a setup. We aren't usually able to film inside the bars, but we have enough light today. Thank goodness. And I'm happy we are, because this place, of all the bars we've seen so far across America, and we've already done 28 of these, this is the best fantasy football draft setup I have seen, bar none. They got the screens, they got the plugs for you, they got packages, Post Bar in St. Louis. Not just football, these guys do all kinds of drafts. Let's get to the Rams, starting at the top. Sam Bradford, obviously with the knee injury, is a disaster. You could argue his whole career has been a disaster to this point. What happens? Is Sean Hill the quarterback here? Why weren't they in on Ryan Mallett?
Yeah, well, I do believe Fisher trusts the veteran in Sean Hill, and in all honesty, given the market for QBs, I can't say I blame him. You know, Sean Hill does have great experience in the NFL. He's been able to play a little bit in Detroit when Stafford got hurt, and he played well when he was there with Stafford gone. I actually think he's making the right move in keeping him at the starter, at least for right now, unless something major changes where a great quarterback comes around. I think it's a smart move.
Awesome. Yeah, we got guys filtering in right now. Who's got the first pick tonight, guys? Do we know yet? Get back, man. We got people here filtering in for the draft here. All right, let's talk running backs. Obviously, Zach Stacy, Benny Cunningham, Trey Mason. Those are the names you're going to hear the most. Stacy's been going as a third-round pick, but you know what? Benny Cunningham played better in the preseason. How's that unit going to shake out this year?
You know, in all honesty, the problem is that Fisher is a run-first guy, and he has been before. And he's also seen what happens when you do that with your lead back in Eddie George. You run him into the ground in a few years. Zach Stacy carried the load last year. They're going to have to divvy it up a little bit. So that's why you saw Benny Cunningham a little bit more with the first team. You will see splits carries a little bit more, but still Stacy is going to be getting 80% of the touches. I wouldn't be concerned at all.
What's the upside for Zach Stacy?
The upside for Zach Stacy, because he is a bell cow type of back, he can be an RB1. I wouldn't put him in a top 5 tier. I don't think he's of that talent level. But in terms of touches alone, especially nowadays in drafts, you need that guy that's going to get a ton of touches. He's one of those guys. Definitely a top 10 or easy.
Awesome. Now, Brian, who's over here, who's commissioning this league, he was a little upset because he got the 12th pick in the draft. I actually said that's where I'd love to be if I'm drafting this year because of the wide receiver opportunities. Let's talk about the wide receivers for the Rams. Tavon Austin, and then it's a hot mess. And I mean like hot like New Orleans humidity, hot mess.
You know, I know you say that, but I'm still a Brit proponent.
No.
You'll find out later how much I like Brit.
No.
Britt's going to be their number one wide receiver. That's what I'm going to say. But Tavon Austin, it's hard to gauge him on last year. Bradford went down early. He was still getting into the groove. I do think there's still some potential there. But when you had Kellen Clemens, you have zero potential. That was a running team. There's nothing he could do. I could see a decent breakout, maybe a wide receiver 3, but I do keep a low profile on the wide receivers as a whole from St. Louis this year.
What about Brian Quick?
Brian Quick. I know he's
all talent, no game.
There you go. That's pretty much it. I think you nailed it.
Okay, so Kenny Britt, let's just say Sean Hill is throwing the ball to Kenny Britt. What's going to happen? I mean, how good can it be, really? Tell me.
We've got a running game here, and it's a well-established running game that they're going to stay committed to. That changes the passing game a lot. That gives a lot of wide-open lanes. Kenny Britt could easily be, in my opinion, at least a top 15 wide receiver this year.
Okay. What? Man, you're not supposed to do your preposterous predictions until the next segment. Right now we're just doing the team report. Don't listen to Sky. Sky has had too much time with my crazy in the truck. 12,000 miles, 33 states in. Okay. Next up, the defense here is actually a really interesting unit. This is a unit that people are reaching for in drafts, and it's hard to argue. That front 7 is exceptional. I am a little bit concerned about the secondary. Top 5 defense maybe is the upside, or am I reading it wrong?
No, I definitely have them as one of my top 5 defenses this year. Like you said, they're really talented up front, And I think a big thing for them is going to be having a more compatible offense this year. A lot of times people don't consider that as a factor. When the offense is going along well, the defense doesn't tire down as much. They're able to get a little bit more get up and go, a few more sacks, a few more interceptions. They were already a top 10 last year. Top 5 is easily within reach.
Might be the best defensive line in football here. They just keep stacking it in St. Louis. You know what I love about St. Louis, too? Toasted ravioli. We're going to eat some of those later. But all the signs here, because I'm from Montreal originally, I see a lot of French around here. It's exciting. You don't see that very often in the U.S. Okay. Very few things break my heart as much as Kate Upton with Justin Verlander. But if you're going to ask me, who's broken my heart in fantasy more than once, it's Jared Cook. I don't even want to talk about Jared Cook, but since we're doing the Rams team report, I'll bring it up.
I was so excited to draft him last year after that week 1 explosion with a couple of TDs. He almost had 3. I was like, oh, perfect pick. And then he just fell off the map. And that was even with Bradford behind center. He's one of those extremely gifted players that is, pardon my French, he's a bonehead. He doesn't run the right routes. He's not paying attention when he's catching passes, doesn't have good hands in that respect. I'm definitely off him this year. I can't even put him as a sleeper appeal because the help the wide receivers they got now.
Okay, well, you know what? I got to pick a sugar daddy brought to you by ArrangementFinders.com, the St. Louis Ram who's going to grossly outperform their ADP. And you know what? This is a tough one. For a fantasy perspective, this is a team, you don't really want anyone off this team. And even though Zach Stacy's going in the 3rd round, with that lack of passing game, I mean, I was a little bit bullish on Bradford before the injury because, listen, it was a dink and dunk kind of game, but he did have a 14-4 TD to interception ratio last year. So this is a tough one, man. But my sugar daddy today, brought to you by ArrangementFinders.com, is going to be the St. Louis defense. I think they're going to grossly outperform their average draft position. Also, I'll throw another one out at you. It's not a football player. It's the St. Louis Blues, man. Another legit Southern hockey city. As a Canadian, love the Blues, man. Great fan base here in St. Louis. Okay, we are going to be back right after this. We're going to eat some toasted ravioli, and this man has some crazy predictions, all kinds of crazy. This is Razzball Radio, Fantasy Sports Network. We'll be back right after this.
I was never one for traditional dating, which is why I like to meet guys on ArrangementFinders.com. Arrangement Finders puts a twist on dating that works so well, they guarantee you'll find a girl. That's right, guarantee. Sounds too good to be true? Check out these girls on ArrangementFinders.com who are looking to date. She's hot. She's hot. Okay, her, not so much. Anyway, it's free to join. Go to Arrangement Finders and meet girls like me who know what you really want.
Welcome back, Razzball Radio, Fantasy Sports Network in St. Louis. I'm here with my man Micah, the bar manager here at Post Sports Bar and Grill. We're in Maplewood, correct, sir?
That's correct, yeah.
Now, I got to tell you, man, I know I said this earlier, but you guys have the best setup for fantasy football or any kind of fantasy that I've seen. I've been in 28 different bars now, man. I mean, how are you guys so fantasy obsessed?
Man, you'd have to ask the owners, the founders, Adrian and Dave, man. Those guys live, breathe, do nothing but fantasy sports.
I love it. My kind of people. Okay, now, reason we got you here is not just because you're handsome, and we're telling people you're from St. Louis, even though you're from Nashville, but I got to try a real St. Louis tradition right here, toasted ravioli. I'm telling you, these are fantastic. I'm trying them here right here on the air at the Post Sports Bar and Grill. People love this stuff, right?
That's money.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing. Wow.
Ask me how they invented this.
How'd they invent them?
I have no idea, but what I would say is they probably accidentally dropped some ravioli into the deep fry, and out came yummy fried goodness.
A St. Louis institution. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Razzball Radio, Fantasy Sports Network. Nick and Sky at the Post Sports Bar in Maplewood, just outside of St. Louis, talking a little preposterous, outlandish, insane predictions. On yesterday's show, we did my crazy predictions. Today, I want to hear yours, brother. So, Sky, throw me your first preposterous prediction. Now, hey, I'll preface this by saying we're not saying this is going to happen. We're just saying that it's not absolutely out of the realm of possibility that
Nick Foles is your number one fantasy quarterback for this year.
You know what? It's a statement, But it's not crazy. I mean, Chip Kelly, second year with that offense. I mean, this is a team that could explode. Is that what you're thinking?
Well, the big thing is he's not going like that. I mean, in drafts, I just did an auction where he went for $1 more than Jay Cutler. So that tells me you guys don't believe. I'm telling you I do. Last year, he was on pace for 40 touchdowns if he played a full season, and I'm including his concussed game. The guy can easily throw 40 to 45 touchdowns, rush for 3 to 5, and eclipse 4,500 yards passing and 500 yards rushing.
All right. It's not that crazy. It's a little bit crazy. I want something crazier, man. Give me something crazy. Crazier than deep-fried raviolis.
Well, because you love him so much, Nick, I think we need to talk about Kenny Britt and his year in which he goes for 80 receptions, 1,200 yards, and 10 touchdowns.
We've been smoking.
I don't know. I've been in your van, Nick.
Dude.
Look.
Seriously? I mean, okay, that's a bold prediction. You really think that could happen?
The big thing here in St. Louis is, Fisher brought him back in. Fisher likes this guy. He's a raw talent. He just needs to get honed in away from the field. There's been nothing wrong with him as a talent on the field.
Well, his knees.
Well, his knees do. Yeah, that's a problem.
And breaking into military facilities.
Again, he did that in his off time. That's what I'm saying. His off the field stuff is a problem. But Fisher's going to rein him in. He's going to be focused, and he's going to be a major target in that offense this year. I could easily see him being a wide receiver 1.
Okay, I'm down on that with Sean Hill here, but you know what? I'm willing to listen. It's bold. I asked you to be bold. You're being bold. Give me another preposterous, outlandish, zany prediction.
Jonathan Grimes will be an RB2 this year.
Say what?
Jonathan Grimes, our good old friend down with the Texans. I think we all know that Arian Foster is an injury waiting to happen. He always seems to have problems, and I do think he's one of those guys that's proven, doesn't matter how young or old he is, he's going to keep breaking down. And I think Jonathan Grimes is going to sweep in there. I think it's an offense still built around the run game, and I think he's going to produce once he's in there. Interesting
that Mallett went there, and I do think they are going to run, especially that defense is going to keep him in ball games. What about Blue, though? A lot of talk about Blue might blow his horn.
Not
that he's little.
Blue could get involved, but I think given that Grimes has already been there for a little bit, I think he gets the first opportunity, and I think that first crack is always going to need to kind of break through once Foster goes down. So Blue could be on the horizon for a dynasty league, but for this year, my money's on Grimes if I'm drafting any Texans running back.
Awesome. Okay, give me another crazy prediction.
All right. Brandon Cooks will lead the Saints in receptions this year with 100.
What? You gave me HE double hockey sticks go St. Louis Blues yesterday for saying that Michael Floyd might catch 100 balls, and now you're telling me a rookie wide receiver is going to have 100 catches for the Saints?
Different guy, different player, and different style. We're talking about a kid that can do everything, and he's going to be filling in for that Darren Sproles type role, a little bit of the joker role, a little bit of the slot guy, but he's got speed to burn. He can also go outside, and that's where I'm going with that 100 catches. He's definitely going to be able to clear the 75 from what Darren Sproles can do, and then he's going to tack on 25 long balls more.
Okay. That might be the craziest one I've heard so far. Can you top it? Give me another bold, outlandish, zany, preposterous, out-of-this-world prediction.
Jermaine Kearse is going to catch 10 touchdown passes for the Seahawks this year.
I don't think that's crazy. I think that's in the realm of possibility. I probably would have had him closer to 5 or 6, but 10 is possible. I mean, you and I have talked a lot. You and I both believe that the passing game is going to improve. Well, they're going to balance out the attack a little bit more. Well,
let's also face facts. We've been in the van together for a while. We're both now crazy. So I don't know if we're good judges of each other's character at this point. The big thing with Seattle, like we've been talking about, I do see a major passing bump. And a lot of people are taking Baldwin. A lot of people are all over Harvin, of course, in this. A lot of things that people aren't recognizing is how much Russell Wilson relies on and trusts Kearse. The guy has great hands. He has great body control after the catch. He almost had 2 touchdown catches in the Super Bowl. One of them was just barely knocked away at the goal line. The kid is just a great target overall, great physical specimen that is being really underlooked in drafts right now.
What did you think of those toasted raviolis?
Oh, my goodness. Can we go get some more?
Yeah, and they got Provel cheese here. That's it's a cheese they created in St. Louis. It's like a mozzarella, but it's got more snap to it. This is a good foodie town, brother. We got to go and eat.
I was about to, well, let's go do it now.
Oh, we got more show to do, man. We got more predictions, more crazy predictions. But you know what's crazy is when you don't lock up your league fees for free with sportsvault.net. Why wouldn't you do that? Let someone else do the dirty work for you. Sportsvault.net. They will send out the emails. You pay by credit card. They redistribute it on your credit cards if that's how you want it. There's no cost. Also, they got wicked trophies. So if you want a trophy for all the leagues you're going to win this year, you want to check them out. Okay, this is Razzball Radio, Fantasy Sports Network. We'll be right back after this.
I was never one for traditional dating, which is why I like to meet guys on arrangementfinders.com. Arrangement Finders puts a twist on dating that works so well, they guarantee you'll find a girl. That's right, guarantee. Sounds too good to be true? Check out these girls on arrangementfinders.com who are looking to date. She's hot. She's hot. Okay, her, not so much. Anyway, it's free to join. Go to Arrangement Finders and meet girls like me who know what you really want.
Welcome back, Razzball Radio, Fantasy Sports Network. Nick and Sky, quick tally. We are closing in on 12,000 miles. We have hit, or I have hit, 33 states plus the District of Columbia. We have lost and gained co-hosts. I have seen crazy things. I think there's a book here, man.
I think there definitely is a book, and I think you need a writer to help you with that.
Too bad I don't know any. Okay, we are talking crazy predictions, but one thing that isn't crazy is playing daily fantasy football. You want to do that Sundays, of course, this year at DraftKings.com. $5 million available for kickoff weekend. Enter promo code Razzball. I'm going to be playing some DraftKings this year. You?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I've been playing a little bit for the baseball side of things, but I'm definitely revving up for the NFL season. That's prime time.
Yeah, you're more of a baseball guy. I'm more of a football guy. Let's be honest. Okay, let's get some more bold, crazy, preposterous, insane, wacky, one might say, predictions. Give me another crazy prediction.
Cam Newton will not finish as a top 15 quarterback.
Whoa. Injury?
I think it's going to be a little bit of injury, and I don't know if people have been paying enough attention to his rushing yards. A lot of people keep saying, I want to draft him because that rushing game balances out his stats. His rush attempts and rushing yards have steadily decreased each year, and with injuries coming into play, I really don't see them leaning on him that heavily this year. I think they're going to go more to their running backs, a lot more to their running backs this year.
The running backs are not good. Have you not noticed that? They just suck up salary cap.
Well, you know what else isn't good? Having your best quarterback or your star player hurt for half the year because you keep rushing them out there and getting them run over because your running backs are bad. They're going to rely on those running backs, good or bad, and that's going to keep him way down on the boards, especially with that receiving core there. It's a mess.
No, the receiving core is not a mess. The receiving core is better than it was. It's more diverse than it was last year. Steve Smith is overrated as he ages. My concern, and the reason that I'll say that could happen, is the offensive line is a cluster bomb right now. But no, I actually listen. I still listen. When the preseason started, I was here on Cam. I have slowly come down. I had him, as a top 5 quarterback. Now I've probably got him 9th or 10th. So I've gotten kind of back to where everyone else has him. But it's just that line. That line is a mess, a hot mess. Okay, give me another hot mess prediction.
Yes. Cordarrelle Patterson is going to perform so poorly this year that he's not even going to be top 100 next year.
What's the matter with you? You know what, man? You're going to upset a lot of people. Sky_Razzball on Twitter when you want to say, what? That's more nuts than the Cam prediction. That's more. Oh, that's not. Yeah, you know what? I don't know what's crazier, that or the Cooks prediction.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. I didn't say that in Minnesota, obviously. I saved it for here. So it was a smart move on my part. But, no, the problem is I don't know. That offense is set up around AP. And on top of that, you've got Matt Castle out there throwing it. Everyone keeps giving the outlier of Josh Gordon, Norv Turner effect, all these components that have nothing to do with Cordarrelle or his setup as a player. It's the argument for him being and going where he's at in drafts is already preposterous to me to begin with. To see him actually fail this year wouldn't surprise me at all.
I'll tell you what, man. You're talking outside of the top 100. I mean, my goodness, what is it? Do you think he's just not going to get the catches? He's not going to be in the running game anymore? I mean, Minnesota's like a sneaky sleeper as a team.
I'm just one of those people. I'm not on board with that. Like I said, everyone's buying into the Norv Turner effect, and everything is Norv Turner this, Norv Turner that. Norv Turner is not magic, as much as everyone likes to believe that he is.
You're not like a guy named Norv.
I like Norv. It makes me want to say Norv instead of Norv. But no, it's just that's a huge effect on them. Is an offensive coordinator all of a sudden coming in and magically changing everything that's wrong? You still got Matt Castle up there, people. Matt Castle.
Whatever. Okay, that was pretty bold. The Cooks one was pretty bold. What else you got in your bag of tricks?
Sean Green is going to finish as the leading rusher for the Titans. He's actually going to rush for 1,000 yards and get 8 touchdowns.
You know what? If you would have told me that 2 weeks ago, I would have thought you were crazy. But Brandon Bishop Sankey didn't have a very good preseason. I like the line, and I think the line is going to make maybe a subpar Sean Green look a little bit better than he is. You know what? I could see that happening. What's your argument?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean and it's also another run-first team with them there. And Sean Green, for all of his warts, he's not a dynamic rusher, but he kind of falls into the Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis mold. He's not a bad player, but he's not an exceptional player either. And when you just need to keep that ball moving, and you don't want to be losing it to fumbles or a rookie running back running backwards for 3 yards and losing yardage, that's a team that's built around kind of the slow, plodding nature, and that's his game.
They could win the division. That's not crazy either.
Oh no, by far. I love their setup. I love the division that they're in, and
sneaky defense too for fantasy.
Big time. No, I'm very much a Titans fan this year for a lot of things fantasy, just for the price alone on all those guys.
And you weren't even in Nashville, man. That was one of the best nights we had on this trip, man. Nash Vegas. Okay, we got time for a couple more. Give me another crazy prediction.
Geno Smith is going to have 30 touchdown passes.
That's not that crazy, but make your argument.
My argument is based around the fact that now that Eric Decker is in town, he's never really had a bona fide wide receiver one. And the only reason I would consider that crazy is you got to think about where he's going in drafts in 2 QB leagues. I believe last night in auction he went for $3. When you consider Andy Dalton went for $15 to $16, you start weighing out how things are viewed. You got to weigh out how things are viewed. And the big thing is no one's really seeing the Jets as a possibly explosive offense. And for a quarterback to throw 30 touchdown passes in New York, that's kind of a big thing. Doesn't happen very often for the Jets.
You know what else doesn't happen very often? Me having to dodge traffic in the middle of a show. Okay, we don't mess around here. So we are going to go in and draft. This is going to be a crazy good draft. The Post, Sports Bar and Grill in St. Louis. I got a couple of locations in Crèvecoeur, like how I said that, like French, and then we're in Maplewood today. Really cool place, guys. If you still have a fantasy draft to do this year in St. Lou, you want to line up your hockey drafts, come do it with these guys. They have it set up legit. We are going to roll out after the draft out of St. Lou. We're heading to KC tomorrow, going to eat some barbecue. This is Razzball Radio. I'm Nick Capozzi. He's Sky. Fantasy Sports Network. We'll see you tomorrow from KC Barbecue City. Tech 9.